Right now, today, there's a jeweler sitting in New York City's Diamond District who built his entire empire off selling fake gold to rappers. He was passing off 10-carat garbage as 14-carat VVS, cloning celebrity pieces, putting famous faces on products those celebrities never touched, never approved, and never even knew existed. For years, nobody said a word. But then 50 Cent found out, and you already know how that story ends. What happened next set off a chain reaction so wild, so absolutely unhinged, that it ended with a $5 million federal lawsuit, a full-on brawl inside the Diamond District that went viral across every platform, 2 arrests, somebody getting spat in the face, and a man getting choked with his own chain. All roads lead back to one name, TraxNYC. Y'all need to hear this. Let me break it down. Before we get into the chaos, we need to establish who we're actually talking about here. Because TraxNYC isn't some random nobody. This man built something real, or at least that's what the world was supposed to believe. Max Ajani, that's the government name, but the streets know him as Trax. He runs TraxNYC, a celebrity jeweler operation based right in the heart of Manhattan's Diamond District, 64 West 47th Street to be exact. The spot is legendary. The address alone carries weight. This is where real money moves, where rappers cop their chains, where athletes come to flex. The Diamond District is the epicenter of the jewelry game in America, and TraxNYC had planted its flag right in the middle of it. And this man was not small time. We're talking over 3.5 million Instagram followers, verified, famous. He's worked with Busta Rhymes, Kodak Black, Mr. Beast. Yeah, the YouTube guy with 300 million subscribers came to Trax. This man was even in a Hollywood movie. You remember Uncut Gems? The Adam Sandler film that had everybody stressed out of their minds, that chaotic, fast-talking jewelry store movie. Trax played a character in that film, a jeweler, art imitating life. No cap. So when I say this man had credibility, I mean it. He had the clout, he had the platform, he had the customer base. Rappers trusted this man with their money and their image. But here's the thing about building an empire in the Diamond District: everybody is watching everybody. And in a world where perception is currency, some people don't build their reputation. They borrow somebody else's. And that's exactly where this whole thing starts to unravel. It's the summer of 2024. 50 Cent, Curtis Jackson, the G-Unit general, the man who turned bankruptcy into a business empire, the man who sued people for sport, starts noticing something on his timeline. TraxNYC is posting videos on TikTok, on Instagram, content after content. And in these videos, Trax is holding up jewelry, chains, crosses, pendants. And right next to those pieces of jewelry, 50 Cent's face, 50 Cent's name, 50 Cent's image, being used to sell these chains without a phone call, without a contract, without a single dollar going to Curtis Jackson. But here's where it gets crazy. Trax wasn't just passively using 50's name, he was loud about it. This man posted a picture of 50 Cent and Drake together and captioned it, "Yo, at 50 Cent you should be a jeweler. Hit TraxNYC or call 212 Trax." And he let that marinate for a second. He tagged 50 publicly in a post advertising his jewelry business using 50's image without permission, as if 50 Cent was going to see that and say, "You know what? That's a great idea, let me partner up with this man." That's not even the bold part. In an August TikTok, Trax went a step further. He filmed himself holding up a cross chain that looked nearly identical to one 50 Cent had been spotted wearing. And then looking directly into the camera, he said, "And I need you to hear this clearly. We just jocked your style. I know you watch my videos and now I'm watching your swag and jocking your swag just like you jocked my swag." He told 50 Cent, one of the most litigious, most aggressive, most legally trigger-happy men in the music industry, that he copied his jewelry and he doesn't care. Now at this point, a smarter man might have taken the L quietly, removed the posts, moved on. But Trax doubled down. 50 Cent saw it and 50 did what 50 always does first. He gave a warning. He got on Instagram and wrote, "This was a bad idea. You will regret doing this, I promise." You know what Trax said back? "You don't. You got better things to worry about, family." He told 50 Cent he had better things to worry about. There are maybe 5 people on this planet who can say that to 50 Cent and get away with it. Max Ajani is not one of those people. October 10th, 2024. That's the date. Market 50 Cent, through his company NYC Vibe LLC, walks into federal court and drops an 18-page lawsuit on Max Ajani and TraxNYC Corp., and this isn't some small claim situation. This man is asking for a minimum of $5 million. TMZ Hip Hop obtained the documents and the legal language is surgical. The lawsuit charges trademark infringement and violation of 50 Cent's right of publicity. But here's what the actual complaint says, and this is important because this is the part that reveals the full scope of what was happening. The lawsuit states that the defendants willfully and knowingly created imitations of an original necklace designed exclusively for Jackson, not inspired by, not similar to imitations, copies. They took a custom piece, a piece made exclusively for 50 Cent, replicated it, and then used 50 Cent's face to sell those replicas to consumers who would naturally assume they were getting something connected to the man himself. The lawsuit goes even further. It states point blank, Jackson did not purchase his necklace from defendants, and Jackson has never authorized defendants to capitalize on his goodwill and reputation in order to promote their goods and services. And the consumers were already confused. The court documents included actual comments from Trax's YouTube posts where fans were saying things like, "I'm a big 50 Cent fan. I want the silver and gold." These people genuinely believed 50 Cent had some kind of relationship with this jeweler. That's not an accident, that's not a coincidence, that's intentional misdirection, and 50's legal team made sure the judge understood exactly that. His rep put it plainly, Mr. Jackson takes the unauthorized use of his name and likeness for commercial purposes seriously. Translation, pay up or face consequences, and there will be consequences. Now here, where it gets entertaining, because Trax, even after getting hit with a federal lawsuit, did not sit down quietly. No, this man went on Instagram, held up a cross necklace, and essentially tried to appeal to 50 Cent's spirituality. He said, "Yo, 50, a cross is meant for forgiveness, redemption, forgiveness of sins. Forgive, forget, let it go, brother." 50 responded immediately, "Let me think about it. Nah, you tried to play with me, you know the vibes by Monday." But wait, it gets worse, or better, depending on how much you enjoy watching Audacity operate at maximum levels. Trax decided his next move was going to be a PR stunt. He hopped in a car, drove to South Jamaica, Queens, 50 Cent's old neighborhood, the block where Fifth grew up, and this man started handing out bars of silver to residents, claiming they were worth over $50,000, saying he was giving a kilo for 50. He went to 50 Cent's hood during an active federal lawsuit to do a giveaway. That is either the most gangster move or the most reckless move in recent celebrity beef history, possibly both. None of it worked. By May 2025, the legal walls were closing in. Ajani issued a formal public apology both online and at his physical storefront, acknowledging that he had used 50 Cent's image, name, and intellectual property without consent. He removed all the offending content. He expressed regret, and 50 Cent, satisfied that the record had been set straight, formally dismissed the lawsuit. Done. Over. But here, what nobody was paying attention to while all of this was going down. TraxNYC wasn't just out here playing games with celebrity images. There was something else lurking, something that would make the 50 Cent situation look like a warm-up. Let me connect some dots for you, gang, because this is where the real tea lies. While TraxNYC was busy fighting 50 Cent's legal team in federal court, something was allegedly happening on the floor of the Diamond District that tells a much bigger story about how this man operated. See, the Diamond District on West 47th Street isn't just one store. It's a building full of individual booths, jewelers operating side by side, sharing the same physical space, competing for the same customers. And in that environment, reputation is everything. If your name rings bells, customers seek you out. They come in asking for you specifically, and that's exactly what someone was allegedly exploiting. According to Ajani himself, there was a competing jewelry operation inside that building, a company called AK Diamonds, run by brothers George A. and Freddie A., who had allegedly been running a scheme. When customers came into the Diamond District looking for TraxNYC, asking for specific pieces they'd seen on TraxNYC's website, AK Diamonds employees would allegedly intercept them, tell them that TraxNYC was out of stock on that piece, but they could help. They had something similar, and it was the same quality, same gold, same craftsmanship. It was. This is where the fake gold situation comes in. And this is the part that should make every rapper, athlete, and celebrity who's ever spent serious money at the Diamond District genuinely uncomfortable. A customer came to Ajani with a bracelet, a $22,000 bracelet that they'd purchased from what they believed to be either a TraxNYC product or a comparable item from someone in the same building. The customer had been told the piece was 14-karat gold VVS quality, the real thing. Ajani didn't take their word for it. He tested the bracelet on camera with the customer sitting right there watching, and the test came back showing that the bracelet contained just 10-karat gold, not 14-karat, 10-karat. For anyone who doesn't know the difference, and I'm going to break this down because it matters, 14-karat gold contains about 58% pure gold. 10-karat gold contains about 42% pure gold. We're talking about a significant difference in both quality and value. If you're paying $22,000 for 14-karat gold and you're receiving 10-karat gold, you are being defrauded. Period. Full stop. No gray area. And if this was happening systematically to multiple customers over multiple years, then we're not talking about a mistake. We're talking about a deliberate, organized scheme to pass off inferior gold as premium product using TraxNYC's name and reputation as the lure to bring customers in. The street's been talking about this kind of thing for years, fam. The Diamond District has a reputation, and not all of it is good. For every legitimate jeweler in that building, there are stories about gold that isn't what it's supposed to be, diamonds that don't match their certificates, and customers who paid premium prices for a product that didn't hold up. It's one of the worst-kept secrets in the jewelry game. But nobody has ever gone on camera with a receipt with a live gold test with the customer present and put it all out in the open like this. Johnny said it plain, this is the receipt of this disgusting company that pretends to be me. They sold my customer their bracelet and ripped him off on the gold. These rats have done this over and over again, and I tolerated it over and over and over again. This wasn't the first time. He said he tolerated it, which means there were prior incidents, which means this was a pattern, which means there could be more victims out there. Regular customers, celebrities, athletes who paid real money for fake gold and never knew. January 1st, 2026, New Year's Day. While most people are sleeping off the previous night, Ajani posts the first video to Instagram laying out the allegations, showing the receipt running the gold test. The clip hits immediately, millions of views within hours. January 2nd, 2026, around 2:30 p.m., Ajani decides he's done waiting for a response. He's going to get his money $22,000, the full amount the customer paid, directly from the source. He walks into the Diamond District with that bracelet in hand and walks straight up to the AK Diamonds booth, camera rolling. What you see in the footage is jarring. Ajani is in somebody's face screaming, "Where's my money, motherfucker? You said VVS 14 karat and you're using my name, you fucking thief." Security rushes in. People from neighboring booths come over. The whole building is watching. A crowd forms in the aisle and Ajani doesn't back down. He's holding that receipt. He's holding that bracelet. He's presenting evidence like he's the prosecutor, the judge, and the bailiff all at once. At some point, he gets pulled back from the booth. The situation seems like it might de-escalate. It does not de-escalate. He comes back, and when he does, one of the men at the AK Diamonds booth spits directly in his face. Full spit in the face on camera, and that's when the Diamond District of New York City turned into a war zone. What followed was a full brawl, shoving, punches, people from every direction getting involved. By the end of it, Ajani is posting photos from a hospital. He's showing redness on his neck where he says someone tried to strangle him using his own chain. He's showing a mark on his head from where he says he was struck. And in his caption he writes, "These scammers spat in my face and tried to kill me." The NYPD responded, they assessed the situation, and when the dust settled, George A. and Freddie A., the two brothers who run AK Diamonds, were arrested and charged with assault. Two men arrested in handcuffs led out of the Diamond District on camera. That footage spread everywhere: Reddit, X, TikTok, Instagram, every platform. By the next morning, TraxNYC, AK Diamonds, and the Diamond District were trending simultaneously. Ajani later appeared on Adam Ross' Kick live stream, visibly shaken but not backing down. He said, "I'm not here to be spat on, I'm not here to be strangulated, I'm not here to be dealing with none of this. They got arrogant, they got blinded by greed. You get blinded by your sins and then you fuck things up, that's what happens." He also made it clear he's coming with the lawsuit next. Now here, where people really need to start connecting the dots, because the implications of what happened in that building go far beyond one brawl and two arrests. Think about this carefully. TraxNYC built its entire brand on being the jeweler for celebrity culture: Busta Rhymes, Kodak Black, Mr. Beast. Their social media is a highlight reel of famous people and expensive pieces. And now we have documented on camera, tested in real-time evidence, or at least credible allegations, that in the very same building where TraxNYC operates, there was a competing booth allegedly using TraxNYC's name to move inferior gold to unsuspecting customers. Those customers thought they were buying into the same brand they'd seen on their favorite rapper's Instagram. They thought the chain around their neck was the same quality as something Busta Rhymes wore on stage. They paid $22,000 and walked out with 10-karat gold when they paid for 14 karat. Now ask yourself, how many other people got? How many other transactions happened that nobody tested? How many other receipts exist for pieces that were never what they were sold as? And let's bring it back to the bigger picture. This isn't just a TraxNYC story. This is a story about the entire ecosystem of celebrity jewelry culture and how vulnerable it is to exploitation. When rappers flex chains on Instagram, those images drive real consumer demand. Fans want what their favorite artist has, they go looking for it. And when they can't find the exact piece, they'll accept what they're told is the equivalent. That's the hustle. That's always been the hustle. And now, for the first time, somebody went on camera with a receipt and a gold tester and showed the world exactly how it works. AK Diamonds, for their part, is not going down without a fight. They released CCTV footage showing the customer in question allegedly shopping at multiple booths in the Diamond District before arriving at their booth, suggesting the customer's account of events may not be entirely accurate. They're denying the fraud allegations. The case has not been proven in court, but the footage, the test, the receipt, the arrests, the lawsuit coming, that's all real. Let me zoom out for a second because I need y'all to really sit with what just happened here. In the span of about 18 months, one jeweler managed to get sued by 50 Cent, one of the most feared figures in music industry litigation, for $5 million for allegedly using his likeness to sell knockoff chains that 50 never authorized, never endorsed, and never had anything to do with. Then get caught in the middle of a viral Diamond District brawl where the central allegation is that a competing operation was allegedly using his name to sell fake gold to customers who thought they were getting the real thing. Do you understand the poetic irony of that? The man who allegedly used 50 Cent's image without permission to sell his product allegedly had his own image used without permission to sell fake product. The game came back around full circle. Real recognize real, and the fake always surfaces eventually. But here's the uncomfortable question that nobody in the culture wants to ask out loud. How deep does this actually go? Because if it was happening in plain sight inside a building with security cameras, surrounded by dozens of other jewelers, in one of the most famous commercial blocks in New York City, then what's happening in the transactions that don't get filmed? What's happening in the private sales, the DM deals, the celebrity pieces that get purchased through middlemen? The jewelry game in hip-hop has always been about more than the gold. It's about status. It's about signaling. It's about letting the world know you made it. And that need, that cultural imperative to flex, is exactly what creates the vulnerability. Because when the demand is high and the standards aren't being checked, somebody is always going to step in and fill the gap with something that looks right but is. 50 Cent understood that. That's why he moved immediately when he saw his image being used. That's why his lawsuit was precise, documented, and devastating. Because in this game, if you don't protect your brand aggressively, someone will take it from you and profit off it before you even realize what's happening. And Ajani, whatever you think about how he handled the confrontation, however you feel about a man going viral for screaming in someone's face inside a jewelry store, he at least did something that almost never happens in this industry. He showed his work. He brought the receipt. He ran the test on camera. He put the evidence in front of millions of people and said, "This is what fraud looks like." The streets have always known this stuff goes on, but now the internet knows too. And that changes everything. So where does all this leave us? 50 Cent got his apology, got his dignity back, got the record set straight that he never had anything to do with TraxNYC's knockoff chains. The lawsuit is done, but the lesson is permanent. You don't use Curtis Jackson's face without a check, that's just the rules. TraxNYC is heading into a new legal battle, this time as the plaintiff suing AK Diamonds for the alleged fraud and the physical assault that put him in a hospital on New Year's Day. The AK brothers are facing assault charges. Their business reputation is cooked, at least in the court of public opinion. Whether the fraud allegations get proven in a court of law remains to be seen. And the Diamond District, that block will never look quite the same again. Because now millions of people, not just industry insiders, not just jewelers, know exactly what kind of games allegedly get played inside those booths. The question is whether fake gold moves in this industry. The question is who's next to get exposed.